Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Ronn Easton's Tell It Like It Is. Today, I cover a subject that is near and dear to my heart because it is much a part of my life as 70 and old age is. We're going to be talking about PTSD and some of the effects. Now, before we start, what I'd like to do is give you a clinical definition of PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a disorder in which a person has difficulty recovering after a terrifying event. The condition may last months or years, with triggers that can bring back memories of the trauma accompanied by intense emotional and physical reactions. We have 22 veterans a day that commit suicide in the United States of America, and since COVID, that number has probably gone up. My goal today is to put a face to PTSD. With that, it is my distinct pleasure and my honor to introduce my brother, Mr. Michael Tobin. Michael, how you doing, brother?
Doing all right, buddy. How are you?
I can't complain for an old man. You're in Virginia, correct?
Norfolk, Virginia, about 2 miles from Norfolk Naval Base, biggest naval base in the world.
Outstanding, outstanding.
My last duty station, to tell you the truth. So.
Okay. Would you give people a little synopsis of your military career? You were a corpsman, correct?
Navy corpsman, I was a FMF corpsman, Fleet Marine Force. You have green side and blue side corpsman. The blue side corpsman deal with the fleet. The green side, we deal with Marines. So any Marine that was under my care they were all under my care. I mean, come hell or high water, whatever I said is what kind of went. So Marines didn't have enough water, they didn't go anywhere that day. If Marines didn't have enough ammunition, they didn't go anywhere that day. That's pretty much what I did. So just took care of my Marines.
Outstanding. How many tours of duty did you have overseas?
I had 12 total years. I had 3 in Afghanistan. I had 1 in Bosnia in the mid 90s. The precursor to what was to come, and it was pretty rough stuff.
And you achieved the rank of?
I was HM1, first class petty officer, E6.
Outstanding.
Unheard of for a corpsman. Unheard of for a corpsman, but just do what you got.
What other injuries did you sustain while in the military beside the PTSD?
I had a traumatic brain injury. I broke my right femur. I broke my sternum, broke my back, lacerated my ulnar and medial nerve in my left hand. I'm currently rated 100% through the VA. And I think it's time that we get the word out about what PTSD is, especially during the pandemic when the things that we would turn to on a normal basis, vet centers, drop-in groups at the VA, things of that nature, they're no longer available to us right now. And it's been kind of tough. And you know some of the backstory about the program that I was in telephonically. And I didn't show up for 3 days, and they're sending police officers to my house, all that kind of stuff. All these things that would trigger PTSD to begin with. People show up at your house with firearms, things of that nature. This doesn't work well for me. And I want to, like, if I could, the 22 a day you mentioned, I wear that on my wrist. I wear the shirt. Don't give in to the war within, end veteran suicide. It's something near and dear to my heart. I advocate for other veterans. I help with writing service-connected claims. I do the best that I can with what I have right now. And it's been tough. It's been tough on me to not have the services available that are normally there to help you just to maintain after. This is an 11-year process for me. I first went to the VA back in 2009 after my father, who was a Vietnam vet, said I refuse to see my son go through 30 years of the same shit that I went through. I hope cursing's okay because I'm going to curse, but it's just
go for it.
Yeah. But if it wasn't for my dad, I probably wouldn't be here right now talking to you. And I have a mad admiration for what you do. So I really appreciate you being here, Ron.
My brother, I got nothing but the deepest of love and appreciation for you. The current president stated that PTSD, compared to other injuries, was nothing more than a headache. Would you go over some of the things you have had to deal with?
We can start at MEPS if you want to. We can start at MEPS. I had open heart surgery when I was 16 years old after I had a heart attack running cross country track. And I had scholarship offers at this point in time to the University of Oregon and Georgia Tech. And they got pulled away as soon as I had that issue. But I was still able to get in the military. I walked in there with a scar that runs from here to here on my chest. And so you can't join. You're weak. And so I basically proved to them that I'm not. So I don't know what bone spurs do, but I had a heart attack and I had open heart surgery and I still made the goddamn military. So 45, yeah. If I was that strong at 18 to get in, then what I learned after that, yeah, 45 ain't got shit on me. So yeah, I wish him well in his COVID recovery. I've had that too, as a matter of fact, and it wasn't fun at all. But yeah, 45. November 3rd, man. That's all I gotta say. November 3rd.
Through the definition for PTSD, they talk about triggers. And I know for me, I can hear a chopper 12 miles out in the middle of the night while I'm dead asleep, and it will make me get up. I have the anxiety issue that takes my breath away. Certain smells and certain sounds will just make my blood run cold. What are your triggers?
Diesel fuel. The smell of diesel fuel. When tow trucks pull up next to me at a stoplight, that smell of diesel fuel. Brings me right back to that. I live, like I said, about 2 miles from Norfolk Naval Station, and you can hear the Blackhawks and the Seahawks flying over every night. And it reminds me of that day that I got hurt, and it reminds me of the day that I had to load people on. The dude that got hurt themselves, and I didn't realize I was in this flight path, but it's been both therapeutic and terrifying at the same time, depending upon what kind of night I'm having. We spoke last night, and you could tell that I was kind of on edge and I was being triggered by things. And last night was a flight night, and they just kept sending the helos over, But I know that they're doing their mission. They've always been there to do their mission, and maybe a different kind of helicopter than you used to, but that noise is it's something that brings you back. Noise and smells. I hate trash day. People look at me weird when I say that. Trash day is, everyone puts their cans on the side of the road. Well, if you were going through an area of the Helmand province and all this extra shit was on the side of the road, next thing you thought something was going to explode. And that's what happened to me one particular day. We were in hundreds of IED attacks, but that one in particular that got me, yeah, it's just weird little things. And you try to come back home and you try to shut off the switch. And sometimes when that switch just doesn't want to shut off, and then you have a incident in public, and next thing you know, the police are there, and you're automatically the bad guy. It's hard. I mean, can I talk about my current experiences with the VA as far as?
Brother, the floor is yours. Go for it.
I'm supposed to be doing this telephonic PTSD program right now, which, first off, when it comes to things like PTSD and therapy, you need to see who's in the room. You need to know who's around you. I wasn't even allowed to identify myself by my name. I had to be number 60 for HIPAA reasons. Their theory behind that was if you walk into a PTSD group and you're there voluntarily, then you're allowed to expose yourself. But I'm not allowed to violate my own anonymity because of that. And it was people like stepping over top of one another. So I asked to not be a part of the program anymore. Well, apparently somewhere on the dotted line where I signed, if I don't show up for 3 days in a row or don't check in, they're just going to send police officers to your house to check on you for a health and wellness thing. 2 times today, 1 time yesterday, and 1 time on Friday. The Norfolk Police Department's at my house, and they're running my ID card, and they're making sure that I'm not wanted for anything. And I told the guy this morning, I said, I haven't left the house in 5 hours. What could I have possibly done? But I mean, this is the way the VA treats you. They send armed police officers to your house, and they've all been pretty cool. I've had some past experiences with the VA where they trigger something, and you're not getting the help that you need, and they show up in full force. And it was a time back. I can't believe I'm going to tell you this. Time back in 2017, right after my father had passed away. With my father, a guy named Brandon Harrell. Brandon Harrell was the guy that I served with over in Afghanistan, and he had committed suicide. And I lost him and my dad in the same week, and I just lost my shit. And I had a roommate was going to get us lunch, and I refused to come out of the apartment until I got my lunch. And so as the Virginia Beach Police Department was outside in a semicircle wearing tactical gear with ARs, yeah, I refused to leave until once I got my lunch. I unbarricaded the house, let them in, and of course they put me on the ground, and I got TDO that day, which I don't know if you remember what a TDO is. It's a temporary detaining order. It's basically being committed against your own will. And I, one of the most highly trained people in the world as far as weapons go, not a felon, never been a felon, never committed a crime in my life. I lost all my gun rights. I have to petition the court for that again, which I've done twice. And both times I've had my VA psychiatrist say, well, he doesn't really need to have a weapon. So, and in this day and age, in the time that we live in, it's kind of hard to not have one of those. I live by myself. I live in a relatively good area, but it scares me when you got Trump's right wingers in the whatever they call themselves, man. It's ignorance. And the thing is, I don't think they would know what to do if push came to shove. That muscle memory that I'll never forget, it's still there. It's scary though, the way I see our country going, and this is not what I want to fight for, and I know this is not what you want to fight for. And I don't know. It's just it frightens me. It really does.
My brother, I can absolutely tell you that I feel the exact same way. When you and I spoke last night, I could tell that you were in that dark place. Lord knows I've been there way, way too many times. And it seems as though when a person has to deal with the VA, it does nothing but exacerbate that situation. But I want you to know, and I want other veterans to know, that you don't have to suffer through this alone. Michael is my brother. He's younger. He's from another time period and another war, but we are brothers because we've all taken that military oath of enlistment. So just like I would never leave family behind, Michael Tobin, you are my family, and I will never leave you behind. You need to know that. You must know I want you to know this from the bottom of my heart. I will always be here for you. And
He
that's
took a simpler form of the oath than 45 did, a simpler form of the oath. And when I hear about this man, all you heard about was Benghazi, Hillary's emails, all that. You heard that shit nonstop. I have not heard a single friend of mine, not a single one, talk about bounties being placed on Marines in Afghanistan. Not a single fucking thing. And that shit, those are the Marines that I served with. And 3 of them are dead because and nobody has said anything about it. And this guy just gets away with whatever the fuck he wants to get away with. And what do you call us? Weak and dumb or whatever it was. We're too stupid to get out of a draft. I didn't fall into a draft. I volunteered to do what I did. And when I joined, I didn't join for God and country. My dad was in the military. My stepfather was in the military. My grandparents were in the military. My uncle was in the military. My brother was in the military. Me and my brother served in the same fucking forward deployed area at the same time. So imagine my mother back here at home worrying about her 2 sons in the Helmand province of Afghanistan, doing what we had to do. And we both got home safely. The first couple times, the third time they got me, but I'm still here. One of the long-term effects of my TBI is epilepsy. I have epilepsy now, and that's a very lonely disorder. I get to see a neurologist at the VA maybe once every year, and I've ended up having to get on Medicaid through the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, to get the help that I need, and I'm getting that now through Eastern Virginia Medical School. Shout out to the epilepsy and polytrauma unit there. They're doing what they have to do. And I had a friend of mine tell me, because I was so principle bent about, I was like, I'm not going to have my state pay for what the federal government should be taking care of. And he said to me one day, he's like, Mike, you cannot let your principles be the thing that kills you. I was like, you're totally right. That's when I finally... It took another vet to tell me that kind of stuff, though. You don't let your principles be the thing that kills you.
Well, and I think that's the same thing that happened to me because I wasn't going to file for the tinnitus and my type 2 diabetes until another veteran kind of explained it to me. But I want to touch on another issue, another area. Talk about dealing with relationships, personal relationships, while you're struggling with PTSD and TBI?
Like I said, the chronic after effect of my TBI was temporal lobe epilepsy, or post-traumatic epilepsy is what they call it. The last relationship I was in, I was with this girl for about 2.5 years, and I started having seizure disorders again, started happening again. And one day she said to me, she's like, "Why should I let your epilepsy be a hinder on my social life?" That shit cut me so deep. And this girl was also a veteran, 100% service connected. She ended up getting I'm not going to talk too much about her because it's her personal information, but she ended up having a bad reaction to the anthrax vaccine, and she developed a condition that she's 100% service connected for now. My situation with my family, my mother is still alive. My dad passed away in 2017. My mom is still alive. She lives probably 15 minutes down the road. I haven't spoken to her since the day after my dad's funeral. So because she's worried about, I'm not the Michael that she let go in 1994. The Michael that came home, Michael was great from 94 to.
Sorry, Michael, we lost your audio.
We lost Mr. Tobin's audio, and
He doesn't understand.
Oh, he's back.
all right,
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah.
We lost your audio for
We
about
lost
the
your
last
audio for a
15
second,
seconds.
for the last 15 seconds, but that's okay because, you know, the Michael that went out in 1984,
1990.
1994, forgive me, I appreciate him, but I appreciate this Michael a whole hell of a lot more.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
we got you.
Yeah, okay. All right. I got a Huffington Post notification on my phone, which is probably kind of cut me out. You're gonna edit this. So.
If you were, I'll tell you what, Mike, just take the next 2 minutes and whatever message you would like to send either to the administration or before you do that, I want to get your opinion. You know about the coronavirus. You've suffered with it. What do you think of 45's exposing all of those people to the virus when he knew he was positive, and then exposing Secret Service yesterday for his photo op?
The complete and total lack of discipline. Total lack of discipline. If we had a guy in the office who had a military background, he would know that kind of discipline. You don't do that. It was nothing for me. I remember watching my friends on Facebook 2 weeks into the stay-at-home orders, and they couldn't sit still. They couldn't sit still. And it drives me nuts. Like, they would be horrible in a FOB or a forward deployed area or on board a Navy ship in the middle of nowhere. It's complete and total lack of discipline. And having to put he's a narcissistic piece of shit. That's what he is. He's a narcissistic piece of shit. And
You speak truth.
I mean, I wish the guy well. I would never wish death upon anybody. I mean, and this is when I got COVID, I didn't deal with the respiratory stuff. I'm a younger guy. I got the rash from like torso down, the rash, the COVID rash, and it was terrible. And there were times that I wanted to post pictures on Facebook that would have been inappropriate, but I think that it would have probably, because the way the male mind works, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. If you'd have seen some of the male parts on me that were covered with the COVID rash, you'd have put that mask on immediately. I absolutely would have. Absolutely would have. But I can't post that kind of shit on Facebook. That's why I'm in Facebook jail right now for the next. I have 2 more days. 2 more days, and they release me again. But what you're doing, this kind of stuff, a voice for us, a voice for. What did I watch you make the other day? You made something on one of your podcasts, and I had my laptop up and I was watching you. Was it chorizo or what was it you made?
It was an artichoke dip.
Artichoke dip, yeah. So as you were doing that, I had to pause you a few times to run to Walmart and get more ingredients. That shit came out pretty good, Ron. So people are actually watching this. And that's the kind of stuff like this right now. This is therapeutic for me to talk about this kind of stuff. I am a whiz. I never thought I'd be this. I am a whiz at writing VA claims. And I helped in my Marines from back in the day. They used to get mad at me because I would notate everything in their medical records, everything. And they're calling me up 10, 12 years later, thanking me because that's the proof of boots on the ground, that kind of stuff, the thing that the VA needs. I think there should be a way where DoD and VA talk to one another so that when a guy transitions out from DoD into the VA system, that it's a seamless transition. It should be digital. It should be automatic. It shouldn't be a guy having to hunt down his records years later. Because most of us, when we get out, we think we're fine. And we try to move on to the next part of our life. And that's just what we do. We go from one thing to the next. Then things happen, like what happened with me when epilepsy showed up. I ended up having a vagus nerve stimulator put into my left shoulder right here. I've been seizure free for 1.5 years now. But all that related to a TBI that, I mean, the day it happened, it was like getting your bell rung. It's like getting hit by Mike Tyson, man. 10 times worse, but.
If Mike, if you, and we've only got a couple of minutes left here. If you had your way and you wanted to just send a message out to the world, what would it be?
Love one another. Be empathetic. Put yourself in your neighbor's shoes. Do the next right thing. Believe in change. We're all capable of change, even when we seem like we're not. I've been helping a friend of mine all day today she lost her sister. I lost my brother a few years ago. I've lost a lot of my brothers that weren't blood brothers, but I know exactly how she feels. Just love one another, especially through a time like this. Don't ignore each other. Just do unto others, man. Just follow the golden rule. Jesus Christ taught us that a long time ago. Just
Well,
others.
Michael Tobin, I once again want to, number one, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Number two, as I stated before, you are family to me. And should you ever have a need, you know that if you call or you send a message, I got your six, okay?
I got your home. You know, I'll call you at midnight. You know that, right?
Care. I don't care, Mike. I don't care. 24/7, I got your six. So know this, all right? So I from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I thank you. And just keep being the person that you are, because I think you're one fuck of a warrior.
So my veterans and my veterans brothers and sisters, there's help out there. The VA may not be the place you want to start at, but they know the avenues to get you to the place that you need to be. I am 11 years removed from VA treatment. Not 11 years removed. I've been in therapy for 10 years dealing with this stuff. It never goes away. You're going to have some days that are better than others, but it's like the shirt that I'm wearing right now. It says, do not give in to the war within, end veteran suicide. The Valhalla Project, Wounded Warrior, I've dealt with all those guys. And the thing is for us to talk to one another, not these clinicians. The clinicians will help you get to a point where it's you and I speaking to one another like we're doing right now. This is what saves lives. Not a pack of pills that you leave with or a diagnosis. And a PTSD diagnosis or a major depression or bipolar or whatever you may be, it's not a sign of weakness. I mean, that's just you in your next step to getting help. And just talk to one another. Don't keep it in. Let it out. Just let it out constructively. And you'll find along the way, you start picking up these things that you didn't realize were in you. And you'll run into somebody who used to be like you are or were. And next thing you know, it's like, well, fuck, I helped that guy today. I helped that girl today. And it can be as simple as a guy on the side of the street holding a sign or some dude looking for work, or we got to sit together, man, because we're all we got. We're a very small percentage of the population. And those of us that actually speak up are even smaller. So, and my friends always tell me, you're very vocal, Mike. You know how to, like, when they'd be in the writer's office saying, fuck you, I can't deal with this shit anymore. They send me in there instead, and I talk to these people. And they tend to hear us. But just don't give up. I mean, that's the first thing. You know, the mission is you right now. The mission used to be what you used to do in the military. Now the mission is you. So, and you be the best you can possibly be. And I believe in my fellow veterans. I really do.
And with that, my brother, I thank you. I will call you later on tonight, and we will talk more, because I'm going to make damn sure you're okay. Okay, so don't even doubt that for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Mr. Michael Tobin for his time, his energy, his service, and his continued service to the community. Mr. Tobin, I salute you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Michael Tobin. 11 years removed from the military and is still dealing with some major life-altering issues. So when you think about PTSD, when you think about TBI, I want you to remember my brother Michael Tobin. I want to address the things that have been going on in the last week with the outbreak of the coronavirus attached to the White House. The reason why they are not being forthcoming with the president's, so-called president's, medical condition is because the Saturday super spreader that they held the event for Amy Coney Bryant, there are now 15 or 20 people who are positive as a result of that Rose Garden event. Then you have 45 himself is medevaced. He's not taken by car, he's medevaced to Walter Reed Army Hospital, which is full of the suckers and losers, which he made fun of. And they like to say that he's doing fine, he's doing great, but again, this is not the truth. The truth is he knew by Wednesday, no later than Wednesday noon, that he was COVID positive. But what did he do? He came to Minnesota and held a fundraising event which people had to pay $200,000 per couple to take part in. So everybody was rubbing shoulders with the elbow and they elbow with the president, and there were hundreds of them. So now they have to see the health department and go into quarantine. Then he goes to Duluth, Minnesota, and he holds a rally there, hundreds more. And this isn't even talking about the Secret Service or the cops or the special people that are around him to make sure that he's secure. Then on Thursday, he goes to Bedminster. More people that he's exposed to the virus. Kayleigh McEnany, positive, but what does she do? She comes out and holds a press conference with no mask on. The president wants to leave Walter Reed Hospital right now and put more people at risk, like he did with that stupid stunt of doing a drive-by with him in the back seat of a hermetically sealed Suburban with Secret Service agents not more than feet away from him. They have families. They have friends. They have people who care about them. And yet they have to be exposed to that virus. I beg of you, I implore you, I beseech you, the only way that we are going to defeat this virus is if people take it seriously. If you wear a mask, if you wash your hands, if you socially distance. If you don't, right now we're at 210,000 people dead. I guarantee you by the end of the year we'll be over 300,000 people dead. 300,000 families that will never see their loved ones again. 300,000 families that did not have to be affected, but because of one man's stupidity and one man's refusal to take this virus seriously, 210,000 souls are gone. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you are not a part of the solution, you are part of the problem. Take this virus seriously. My name is Ronn Easton. On behalf of myself and Mr. Andy Tappan, Andy, say hey.
Hey.
And I'm going to again let you guys know I could not do this podcast without Andy. Andy is as integral and as important a part of this podcast as I am. I'm just a mug up here talking. Andy is making it possible for me to do this. So I thank him from the bottom of my heart. And I thank you for allowing me to come into your home. Peace.